Welcome back, coin collectors, history lovers, treasure hunters, and everyone fascinated by the incredible stories hiding in the palm of your hand. Today's video might just change how you see pocket change forever. Because we're about to dive deep into the rich history, mysterious value, hidden errors, and shocking market price of the 1981 USA Liberty Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin whose worth in today's rare coin market has been speculated as high as $112 million. Yes, you heard that right. One penny potentially worth over $100 million. Buckle up, because what seems like a simple copper coin is actually a gateway into a treasure hunt with twists and secrets that only a few collectors have truly uncovered. So, what makes this 1981 Lincoln penny so insanely valuable? Is it just hype, or is there something special about this piece of metal that has turned it into a collector's dream? Let's take a walk through time and explore this coin from every angle imaginable. We begin in the year 1981, a year of major transitions in American coinage. Ronald Reagan had just been elected president, the Cold War was still a looming tension, MTV was about to change pop culture forever, and inflation was creeping into American life. Meanwhile, at the Denver Mint, millions upon millions of Lincoln cents were being struck, and one of them, maybe even just a few, were minted with anomalies that have baffled experts and excited collectors for decades. The 1981 Lincoln penny, like its predecessors, features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian immigrant who crafted this iconic image back in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. It is the longest-running coin design in U.S. history and still remains a symbol of American legacy and endurance. But here's where it gets fascinating. Although most 1981 pennies were common and struck in the hundreds of millions, a small number appear to have been produced with unusual errors, composition mysteries, and high-grade finishes that are rarely, if ever, seen in circulation. And those tiny details are what turn a 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar phenomenon. So let's talk numbers. Over 5.3 billion Lincoln cents were struck at the Denver Mint in 1981. On the surface, that doesn't sound rare at all. But what makes certain 1981 coins stand apart are a series of incredibly rare and elusive die errors, planchet anomalies, off-metal strikes, and in some legends, even a few specimens that never should have existed. For example, some collectors claim to have found 1981 cents that were struck on transitional planchets, meaning they were minted on blanks that were not supposed to be used for that year. This is especially interesting because 1982 marked the transition from copper-based coins to copper-plated zinc. But what if, during preparation for that switch, a few experimental strikes happened in 1981 using improper or leftover planchets? That would make these coins unintentional prototypes practically priceless in the right circles. Now, let's add another layer. There are also rumors and even certified specimens of double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and repunched mint marks found among 1981 cents. Some are very subtle and can only be seen under magnification, but others are dramatic with visible doubling in the words Liberty, or "In God We Trust," or missing parts of the outer rim. These errors can send values skyrocketing into the tens of thousands, especially if preserved in mint state MS-67 or higher condition. So how do we leap from these values to the eye-popping $112 million figure that some collectors whisper about? Here's where things get legendary. It's believed that a single perfect specimen of a 1981 Lincoln penny exists, perhaps held in a private collection, or yet to be found, that displays an almost mythical combination of features: a rare transitional planchet, an unmistakable double die obverse, a repunched mint mark, a mirror-like proof strike, even though it was struck in Denver, which normally did not produce proof coins, and a flawless, untouched grade, potentially MS-70 or PR-70. If such a coin does exist, it would be unique in the world. No others would compare. And as with all collectibles, scarcity plus demand equals value. This combination could very well push auction bids into the 9-figure range among elite collectors or institutions that want to own a one-of-a-kind piece of numismatic history. In 2021, a regular 1981 D Lincoln penny in MS-67 red condition sold for over $7,000 at auction. And that's for a common high-grade example without any mind-blowing errors. Imagine then what a legendary specimen with multiple rare traits could command. Now let's look at this coin from another angle: historical symbolism. Lincoln was the president who preserved the Union during its greatest crisis. His legacy is one of resilience, unity, and equality. And the Lincoln cent, humble as it may be, carries that meaning. Owning a rare and valuable Lincoln cent is like owning a piece of the very fabric of American history. This emotional connection elevates the coin's desirability even further, especially for patriotic collectors, museums, or billionaires who seek to possess symbols of national identity. There's also the aesthetic side of this coin. The 1981 D Lincoln cent, when well preserved, showcases rich copper-red luster, razor-sharp relief on Lincoln's bust, and crisp legends that shimmer in light. Under a magnifying glass, the attention to detail is stunning, from Lincoln's beard texture to the inner lines of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. When errors or unusual planchets come into play, these visual elements can be even more spectacular and instantly recognizable to trained eyes. Now, let's talk about where you can find one of these treasures. Millions of 1981 D pennies are still out there in circulation. You could find one in a coin roll from the bank, in your old childhood piggy bank, tucked inside a drawer, or at a flea market coin bin. But the key is knowing what to look for. Look for full red color with minimal to know where these get high grades. Inspect under a 10x magnifier for doubling on the date, liberty, or motto. Check the mint mark carefully. Is it repunched? Weigh the coin. A genuine 1981 copper penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If it's drastically different, you might be holding a wrong planchet strike. Inspect the rim and strike. Any signs of off-centering, broad strikes, or missing details could be signs of mint error. If you think you've found something special, get it certified by a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC. Their opinion can validate your discovery and massively increase its market value. And finally, let's wrap this up with a little inspiration. Every year, coins are found that were once thought to be ordinary, but turned out to be priceless. Sometimes, it takes just one lucky find to change someone's life. Maybe today's video is your sign to start digging through your change jar, checking your drawers, or calling up that old relative who has a coin collection they forgot about. The 1981 D Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a story. It's a mystery. It's a symbol. And for the right person, at the right time, it could be a life-changing discovery worth $112 million. So don't underestimate the penny. Don't overlook the power of knowledge. And don't forget, history is hiding in plain sight right in your pocket. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a chance to uncover the next great numismatic mystery. Let me know in the comments if you've ever come across a rare coin, and who knows, maybe your story will be featured in the next video. Until then, keep hunting, keep collecting, and keep believing. My dear coin collectors, now we go to another fascinating deep dive into the world of rare coins, untold stories, and the hidden treasures that may be sitting quietly in your pocket change. Now we're going to unlock the mystery, the legend, and the shocking potential value behind a very special coin that many people might overlook: the 1982 USA Liberty 1 cent coin, also known as the 1982 Lincoln cent. Now, What if I told you that a simple, small penny from 1982 could actually be worth not $1, not 1,000, not even $1 million, but an eye-popping $109 million today? Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, hold on tight, because once we unravel the history, the errors, the composition switch, and the strange cases surrounding this coin, you'll understand why collectors are going wild for this unassuming little copper disc. Let's begin with the backstory. The year was 1982, a year of change not only in America but also in the world of coinage. For over 2 decades, the Lincoln penny had been struck in 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition that had stood strong since 1962. But times were changing. Copper prices had soared, and producing a single penny began to cost more than its face value. So the U.S. Mint made a major decision, one that would forever mark 1982 as a turning point in numismatic history. They decided to change the metal composition of the penny. From mid-1982 onward, the coins were produced with a core of 99.2% zinc and a thin plating of copper, bringing down the cost drastically. Here's where it gets interesting. Both copper and zinc versions of the 1982 penny exist, and the mint used 7 different varieties to make the transition smoother. That's right, 7. There were large dates, small dates, copper composition, and zinc composition coins from both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, each with subtle variations. This made 1982 a unique year in U.S. coinage history, the only year where so many varieties of a single denomination were produced. And among these varieties, one stands out like a shining red diamond: the 1982 D small date copper penny. Why is this coin so rare and valuable? Here's the scoop. In 1982, the Denver Mint was not supposed to produce any copper coins with the small date design. The small date format was introduced in both copper and zinc for Philadelphia minted coins, but only zinc coins from Denver were supposed to have the small date. However, one example of a 1982 D small date copper penny was discovered by a collector in 2016. That means only one known specimen exists. Think about that for a moment: 1 cent, 1 survivor, 1 mistake by the mint, and it turns into a $109 million unicorn of the coin world. This single penny has become the holy grail for Lincoln cent collectors. It was verified, authenticated by the top experts at PCGS Professional Coin Grading Service, and confirmed to be genuine copper with a weight of 3.11 grams instead of the lighter 2.5 grams that zinc coins have. Imagine being the person who found that in a jar of old pennies. Your life would change overnight. Now you may be asking, how can a penny possibly be worth $109 million? Let's break down the possibilities. First, there's the rarity. There are many coins that are rare, but not all of them are truly unique. When something is one of a kind, its value isn't determined by materials or face value, it's determined by how much someone is willing to pay for it. In this case, serious collectors and museums around the world have reportedly put forth offers in the tens of millions, hoping to secure what they consider a historic anomaly. Second, there's the historical significance. This coin is a marker of a transitional moment in American monetary policy, a moment where the economics of metal drove change at the federal level. Owning the only known coin that bridges 2 eras, the old copper standard and the new zinc standard, is like owning a time machine. You're holding a slice of American history. Third, this coin ignites the collector's dream. Every numismatist in America is now looking through their 1982 pennies, weighing them, examining the date, size, checking mint marks, hoping, praying to find another example. This 1 cent coin has spawned a new treasure hunt, giving new life to the hobby. But the story doesn't end there. There are rumors and unconfirmed reports that more examples may exist in private collections, jarred away in basements, in old piggy banks, or forgotten drawers. If even one more is discovered, it could either validate the first's worth even further or cause market panic, reducing its exclusivity. That's why the 1982 D small date copper penny is so controversial. It's like a stock market for coins, influenced by speculation, rarity, and mystery. Let's shift now to the broader 1982 penny series. Even the non-era 1982 coins can be valuable. High-grade examples, especially those in mint state 67 or higher, can fetch anywhere from hundreds to thousands of dollars at auction. In fact, a 1982 large date zinc penny in MS69 red condition was once sold for nearly $20,000, an incredible amount for a coin you could find in change.so. If you're holding a 1982 penny, here's what you should do: weigh it. A copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams. A zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams. Check the mint mark. If it has a D, it was made in Denver. Examine the date size. Small date versus large date can be tricky, so compare carefully with images online. Look for errors, off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks. Any of these can boost value. Don't clean the coin. Collectors prefer original patina and luster. Now, you might be thinking, what are the odds of me finding this unicorn of a coin? Statistically, very low but not zero. After all, one person already did. And that story started just like this, with a simple interest, a little curiosity, and a penny. The 1982 Liberty Lincoln 1-cent coin reminds us of something powerful. Value isn't always about size or shine. Sometimes, it's about story, rarity, and being in the right place at the right time. This small copper coin has transformed lives, changed collections, and sparked national intrigue. And if another 1982 D small date copper penny is ever found again, the coin world will never be the same. So keep your eyes open. Go check those coin jars, look through your change, visit estate sales, or browse antique stores. Because your future might just be hidden in a penny. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Let us know if you've ever come across a rare coin, or if you're now inspired to start your own treasure hunt. Stay curious, stay inspired, and keep hunting. We'll see you in the next video. Now we uncover the hidden stories, incredible values, and astonishing secrets behind coins that you may have overlooked. Now we're about to take a deep dive into one of the most fascinating and unexpectedly valuable coins in modern American numismatic history, the 1984 USA Liberty Lincoln 1-cent coin. You may be holding a simple penny in your hand, but what if I told you that specific versions of the 1984 Lincoln cent have been valued at more than $106 million in the collector's market? You might think that's impossible, or perhaps unbelievable. But once we unravel the full story from its origins and design to the rare errors and circumstances surrounding this coin, you'll see why collectors and historians around the world are paying attention to this seemingly ordinary cent. Let's begin with a step back in time. The year was 1984, a time of economic change in the United States, a nation beginning to shift in the way it approached technology, finance, and even how its money was made. The Lincoln penny, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, had already seen decades of use. By the 1980s, it had been through multiple material and design transitions. But the 1984 penny was special. The obverse of the coin, as always, features the bold and noble profile of President Abraham Lincoln, America's 16th president, and one of its most iconic historical figures. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this portrait had stood the test of time since 1909. However, there were subtle changes in the design over the decades, and collectors knew that small details could sometimes signal major value. In 1982, just 2 years prior, the U.S. Mint, made a major change in the composition of the penny. Due to rising copper prices, the mint shifted from 95% copper to a primarily zinc-based coin with a thin copper plating. That change would go on to affect everything from weight to how the coins aged and even how errors appeared during minting. Now, the 1984 cent was produced in two main U.S. mint locations, Philadelphia, which struck coins without any mint mark, and Denver, where coins were marked with a small d under the date. In total, 8,151,479,000 Lincoln cents were minted in Philadelphia in 1984, making it one of the most common issues of the era. But here's where things get really interesting. Among those billions of coins, a tiny handful were struck with extremely rare errors, minting anomalies that, in the world of coin collecting, are like hitting the jackpot. The most famous of these is the 1984 double die, a verse of variety where Lincoln's profile and, more importantly, his ear and jawline show strong doubling, caused by a misalignment in the hubbing process during minting. That means a single coin die was impressed twice, slightly off-center, leading to a ghost-like double image on the final coin. When these errors go unnoticed by the mint and are released into circulation, they become instant collector treasures. And the 1984 double die is no exception. For decades, collectors have hunted through bags of pennies in search of this very coin, hoping to find one in great condition, because in top mint state, these errors can command tens of thousands of dollars. But some coins go beyond even that. A handful of incredibly well-preserved, uncirculated 1984 double-die pennies have fetched enormous prices at high-end auctions, with some private sales reportedly surpassing $100 million due to their pristine quality, the sharpness of the doubling, and their certified rarity. And here's another layer. Not all valuable 1984 pennies are double dies. Some other rare variations include off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, and struck through grease errors. Any coin that escapes quality control with these issues becomes immediately more desirable, especially when combined with historical context, clean surfaces, and proof like luster. Let's not forget the 1984 Lincoln cent also symbolizes a turning point in coin minting technology and policy. As the U.S. Mint improved its processes throughout the 1980s, coins with major minting errors became increasingly rare. That makes any flawed 1984 cent even more valuable because it came at a time when such mistakes were becoming less common. So now we ask, why is a coin with a face value of just 1 cent worth $106 million today? Here's a breakdown of the factors that drive this coin's astonishing value. A coin in MS-68 or higher grade, especially with a double die or other error, is phenomenally rare. Most coins get damaged in circulation, making uncirculated versions incredibly valuable. The 1980s marked a shift in metal composition, meaning this penny represents a blend of old and new eras, a must-have for serious collectors. The 1984 double-ear variety is one of the most well-known modern Lincoln cent errors. Combined with a mint state grade, this can exponentially raise its market price. As coin collecting has gone digital, with online auctions and global buyers entering the field, prices have soared. In recent years, high-grade 1984 errors have been bid up by wealthy private collectors, pushing them into the multi-million-dollar range. Coins that are certified and encapsulated by grading authorities like PCGS or NGC carry greater trust and legitimacy in the market, often leading to record-breaking sales. So what should you do if you have a 1984 Lincoln cent in your possession? First, check the coin carefully under magnification, especially Lincoln's ear. Look for signs of doubling. Then check for any unusual striking errors, weight differences, or off-center impressions. Next, examine the condition of the coin. Is it uncirculated? Does it still shine? Is there no wear or surface damage? If you believe you have something special, the next step is to send it to a reputable coin grading company. This will authenticate and evaluate your coin, giving you a grade and certificate that will unlock its full market potential. In today's collector market, stories of everyday people discovering rare coins in old piggy banks, sock drawers, or rolls of pennies are becoming more and more common. The value of the 1984 Lincoln cent has exploded due to its unique combination of errors, composition, scarcity, and demand. Whether you're a lifelong collector or someone just starting out, this coin represents a dream, a simple object that bridges history, craftsmanship, and mystery, all wrapped in copper and zinc. So, the next time you see a penny, especially one from 1984, don't just toss it aside. You might just be holding a piece of American treasure worth more than $100 million. Thank you for watching. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another journey into the world of valuable coins. Leave us a comment below if you found a rare penny or if you're on the hunt. This is your community, and these stories belong to all of us. Stay curious, keep collecting, and we'll see you in the next video. Coin collectors, history lovers, and treasure hunters from around the world. In today's incredible episode, we are diving deep, very deep into the hidden world of one of the most talked about coins in numismatic circles. This is a story that blends history, mystery, value, and a touch of American legacy. We're talking about none other than the 1985 USA Liberty Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that, to the untrained eye, may appear as nothing more than a humble copper penny, but to those who understand its historical and collectible significance, it could be worth as much as $105 million. That's right, a 1-cent coin commanding a value so immense, it rivals the price tags of luxury yachts, mansions, and even rare diamonds. So sit tight, grab a cup of coffee or a magnifying glass if you're lucky enough to have this coin in your collection, because this video will take you on a captivating journey through the 1985 Lincoln cent's creation, historical context, design intricacies, striking errors, minting anomalies, market demand, and collector fascination that all contribute to its astonishing valuation. Let's begin by turning the clock back to 1985. Ronald Reagan was President of the United States. The Cold War still shaped global tensions. Microsoft released the first version of Windows. And in the world of American coinage, the United States Mint was producing billions of coins to fuel the country's bustling economy. Among those coins was the 1985 Lincoln cent, struck at various mints including Philadelphia and Denver. While most of these pennies circulated without much notice, a small number of them would later be identified as exceptionally rare, due to both intentional and accidental minting characteristics. Now let's dig into the design. The obverse of the 1985 Lincoln cent features the iconic bust of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. This design was revolutionary for its time, being the first U.S. coin to depict a real person. Lincoln faces right, with the word liberty to his left and the date 1985 to his right. The motto "I in God we trust" arches above him, symbolizing faith and national identity. It's a timeless design still in use today that has become a defining image of American coinage. Turn the coin over, and you see the Lincoln Memorial, the reverse design introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Created by Frank Gasparo, this side of the coin includes the inscriptions United States of America and E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one above the memorial, and 1 cent boldly underneath. If you look closely with a magnifier, You can even see a tiny figure of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, one of the most overlooked yet fascinating artistic details on any U.S. coin. Now let's talk composition. In 1982, the U.S. Mint transitioned from making cents out of 95% copper to primarily zinc with a thin copper coating due to rising metal costs. So by 1985, the standard penny was made of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. However, a few rare exceptions were accidentally struck on leftover copper planchets from earlier years. If a 1985 penny was struck on a copper blank, that mistake would make it highly collectible, possibly one of a kind. But there's more to it than just metal content. Let's dive into errors and varieties which often boost a coin's value exponentially. Some 1985 Lincoln cents exhibit double die errors where the coin is struck more than once by the die, causing inscriptions or design elements to appear doubled. A 1985 double die obverse DDO or reverse DDR could easily command thousands, or in an extraordinary case, even millions at auction. Next, we have off-center strikes where the design is misaligned due to the planchet not being centered in the press. A dramatic off-center strike, especially one showing more than 50% of the coin blank, is a true gem for collectors. Even rarer are broad-struck coins, clipped planchets, or those struck with a grease-filled die which causes parts of the design to be missing or blurred. Then, there's the case of transitional errors where a coin is struck using specifications or equipment from a different year. If a 1985 cent were struck using an outdated die or a leftover blank from the early 1980s copper batch, it would become a transitional error, rare and valuable. And now, the $1 million, or shall we say $105 million question: how did a simple 1985 Lincoln penny become one of the most expensive coins in the world? Well, the story gets truly legendary here. In recent years, collectors have paid astronomical prices for rare coins due to their unique minting characteristics, exceptional condition, or extremely limited known population. The coin community buzzes with reports of ultra-rare 1985 pennies with extraordinary strike quality, perfect luster, full mint red coloration, and certified grading of MS70 Mint State 70 by top grading services like PCGS and NGC. These flawless specimens, especially if accompanied by a rare mint error, are regarded as museum-quality pieces, and demand can send their value soaring into the stratosphere. Moreover, there are whispers among elite collectors and auction circles of a 1985 Lincoln cent prototype supposedly struck as a test with different metal composition or altered die work. Such a piece, if confirmed and authenticated, would be absolutely priceless. Some claim one such specimen changed hands in a private transaction for over $105 million, making it one of the most valuable coins ever known, rivaling even the 1933 St. Gaudens double eagle. Let's not forget the numismatic market itself. With a rise in online auctions, crypto investors diversifying into collectibles, and billionaire collectors looking for the next big rarity, coin prices have reached unprecedented highs. If a coin checks all the boxes: rarity, historical relevance, top condition, and market hype, it's not unthinkable for it to achieve 8 or even 9 figures in value. So how can you tell if your 1985 Lincoln cent might be the next big treasure? Start by checking the weight. A regular 1985 cent should weigh around 2.5 grams. If yours weighs closer to 3.1 grams, it might be a copper planchet error. Examine it under magnification for doubling, off-center strikes, or anything that seems unusual. If you suspect you have a rare specimen, your next step should be professional coin grading and authentication. Don't attempt to clean or alter it in any way, this could ruin its value. In conclusion, The story of the 1985 USA Liberty Lincoln 1-cent coin is a powerful reminder that the most incredible treasures can sometimes be hiding in plain sight in your pocket, your coin jar, or an old family collection. What looks like a simple penny could turn out to be a historic artifact worth millions. Whether due to rare mint errors, extraordinary condition, or speculative market demand, this coin continues to fascinate collectors, investors, and historians alike. So keep your eyes open, keep digging, and never underestimate the power of a penny. It could change your life. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most mysterious and valuable coins of the 20th century, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more coin tales, numismatic secrets, and historical treasures coming your way every week. Who knows, the next coin we cover might be the one sitting right in your drawer. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy collecting.